Hello friends, welcome to another session of video tutorial on Java. Please subscribe to my channel. To subscribe to my channel, click on the subscribe button and then click on the bell icon so that whenever I post a new video, you get the latest updates. In today's session, we are going to take a look at what are arrays, how to initialize an array, and what are two-dimensional arrays, how to initialize them, and finally we will take a look at jagged array. Apart from this, we will also take a look at for each loop, which is an advanced loop. This is in addition to the loops which we covered earlier, which is for, while, and do while. Okay, what are arrays? Arrays are the collections of similar elements. Okay, in Java, arrays are collection of similar data type, and these are located in continuous or contiguous memory. So that means they are stored contiguously one after the other. Say for example, here I'm storing A, B, C, D, E, F and G. So it will be stored in a contiguous memory, not like A here and there is a gap in between and then B is stored here and then C is stored here. No. So it will be stored in a contiguous memory for the entire size of the array. So few things to note about array is it stores same data type. Okay, and arrays are index bound. So arrays are index bound. Arrays are index bound and always starts at index 0. Okay, and then it stores the data in contiguous memory. That is one after the other. Arrays are nothing but collection of elements. So in Java, arrays are nothing but a collection of elements of same data type. So that means it stores the same data type, not different data type. Okay, and arrays are index bound. The data stored in the array can be fetched by using an index value, and this index always starts at 0. And arrays stores the data in contiguous memory, that is continuous memory. So there is no break in between the data in terms of memory location. So let us see an example of array now. Let us open up Eclipse. In this I'm going to create another package called I have created a new package here, and inside that I'm going to create a new class, simple array, enable main, delete the comment. Okay, so arrays can be declared like any other data type. The arrays can be declared, and the syntax for that is, say for example, this is the data type. Okay, and the square bracket says it is an array, and the name of the variable. Okay, so this is a declaration of an array. And this is a single dimension array. Let us see how to declare and initialize at the same time. Okay, so declare and initialize. Before this, it can be declared like this, or int a so this is also valid. Instead of having the brackets here, you can also have the brackets here. It's one and the same. Okay, the usual practice is this. Okay, so let us see now declare and initialize. So int b is equal to new int of now let us see and how to declare and initialize them. Okay, so for example, int b is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here at index 0 value 1 is stored. The same way at index 1 value 2 will be stored. At index 2 the value 3 will be stored. At index 3 value 4 will be stored. Okay, so this is one way of declaring and initializing. So the other way is int c is equal to new of int, let us say 4, and then c of 0 is equal to 10, c of 1 is equal to 11, c of 2 is equal to 12, c of 3 is equal to 13. Okay, so all these are single dimensional arrays. The first one is just a declaration, and the second one is declare and initialize without providing any size. Since we have not provided any size, it automatically evaluates the size of the array based on the initialized values. Okay, so here there are 4 values which we have initialized, and the size will become 4 here. Okay, the other way is we specify the size and then initialize the value. Okay, one thing to remember is the index always starts with 0. So now the second one and third one we have declared and initialized. Now how to, okay, so since the first one is only declaration, so how do we initialize this? Okay, so initialization will be is equal to new of int of, for example, and then a of 0 is equal to 100, a of 1 is equal to 200. Okay, so this is how we have initialized this. And so now we can print the values. So I'm just going to print one values each. Okay, this is out. So a of 0 plus space b of 0 plus c of 0. Okay, I'm just printing the first values here. Okay, save this, right click, run as Java application. Okay, you can see 100 is getting printed, 1 is getting printed, and 10 is getting printed. The same way you can fetch these values based on the index and you can print them. Okay, so this is an example of simple array and single dimensional array. Okay, so we have seen what is an array and how to initialize a single dimensional array. Now we will take a look at two-dimensional array. Okay, let me copy this and paste it here. Simple array 2D. Okay, so instead of this, I'm going to have another bracket here which makes it a multi-dimensional array. Okay, so which is similar to your Excel. So okay, so here I need to declare rows and columns. So for example, a 2 by 2 array. So if you go back to your Excel, 2 by 2 array is these 4 items. So this is 0, 0. This will be 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So this is a two-dimensional array which we have initialized just now. Okay, 0, 0 value will be stored here. So this is 0 row. First will be row and the next one will be column. So this 0 is row and this 0 is column. So this 1 is the row number and this is the 0 column. Okay. The same way we can also have it here. So here there will be 4 values. 0, 0 will be 100. Okay, and then 0, 1 will be 200. A of 1 and 0, I'm going to have it as 300. A of 1 and 1 will be 400. Okay, the same way we can also declare and initialize based on these. Okay, so we need to have two values now. Since it is a two-dimensional array, so we need to separate it out. So this has become 2 by 2 array wherein there are 2 rows and 2 columns. If I have to change this, so if I want to make it as 4 by 2 array, then it will be 0 0 0 1 okay, then 1 0 C of 1 1 2 0 2 1 is equal to 22 and 3 0 13 C of 1 will be 23. Okay, so it is 4 multiplied by 2, which is 8. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, to print these values we have to use another bracket with column value. Okay, the first one is always row, so in this case it is 2 rows 2 columns. Okay, in here also based on the initialized value we have 2 rows and 2 columns. Here there are 4 rows and 2 columns. Okay, so let us save this and run this. It should again print us the values as 100 0 100 1 and 10. Okay, so if instead of this I'm going to print 1 0, okay, here I'm going to print 1 1 and C3 1. Okay, so in this case I'm expecting A of 1 0 is 300, B of 1 is 4, and C of 3 of 1 is 23. Okay, so let us run this again. Right click, run as Java application. So it printed 3 4 300 4 and 23. Okay, so this is how you can work with two-dimensional array. Let us take a look at for each loop, which is an advanced for loop. Okay, so for that I'm going to take simple array. The first Java, for that one I'm going to take simple array Java file. Okay, let us take a look at okay, so let us look at for each loop now, which is an advanced for loop. For that I'm going to take simple array example, and inside which I'm going to take this declare and initialize value, which is C, I'm going to print all the values for this C array. Okay, let me comment this out. The syntax of for each is for, okay, the data type, in our case it is int, and a variable name, you can give any variable name here. I'm going to give it as var, followed by colon, and followed by your array. In our case, I'm trying to print C array. Okay. This out var. Okay, so this is an advanced for loop wherein for each value in C array, so it gets stored into var, and that is what is getting printed in here. Okay, for each value of C, it loops through and stores that particular value into this variable var, and I'm printing that var variable here. Okay, so right click, okay, save this, right click, run as Java application. As you can see, it has printed 10, 11, 12 and 13. Okay, so this can be achieved using for loop also, while loop also, but there is another loop which is an advanced loop which we can make use of for arrays. Okay, so the next thing we need to look at is jagged array. Jagged arrays are nothing but arrays of arrays. In our case, earlier we have seen a two-dimensional array, and each row will be having a similar number of columns. But if you want to have different number of columns for, or different number of column values for a particular row, earlier in our example, let us say 2 by 2. Okay, for first row also we had 2 columns, the second row also we had 2 columns. So if you want to change that, for example, the first row will have 2 values and the second row will have only 1 value. In that case, we call arrays as jagged array, wherein the number of rows will be fixed but the number of column values can vary. So let us look at jagged array now. So for that I'm going to copy this simple array and then paste it here. I'm going to call it as jagged array. Click on OK. Okay, in here I'm going to take only C array. Let me convert this into two-dimensional array, wherein I will initialize only the number of rows, but number of columns will be different. So let me take out this. Okay, so here I have declared a two-dimensional array called C, and the row will be fixed. There will be 2 rows, but the columns can vary. So int of 0, I'm going to declare this as a new array which contains 3 values. Okay, C of 0 is equal to new int 3. The first row will contain 3 values. The second row will contain only 1 value. C of 1 is equal to new int of 1. Okay. This is nothing but arrays of arrays. Okay, or jagged arrays. So let us initialize this now. Since the first row will contain three values, so C of 0, 0 will be 1, C of 0, 1 will be 2, C of 0, 2 will be 3. Okay, and the second row contains only one value, so C of 1, 0th column is equal to 4. Okay, so we have initialized the array now. So let us see how to print this. To print the values here, I'm going to make use of for loop, which is a nested for loop. So first one, we will loop through the row for int I is equal to 0. Since the index always starts with 0, I is less than C dot length. Okay, C dot length will provide the length of this array. Then I plus plus. Okay, another for loop, which is nested for loop now. J is equal to 0 and j is less than C of I dot length j plus plus. Okay, so int j is equal to 0. Okay, since there are different column values, so we need to fetch the length for each row. That is why we are getting the length from C of I based on these length, different lengths. So we need to print those values. Sys out. So here it will be C of I and J. So to print this value properly, I'm going to add a space here, and once it comes out of this loop, I'm just going to print a so that it prints in a particular format in terms of matrix format. Okay, so let me save this. Right click and run as Java application. Okay, the first one, it is not print line, so let us print it one after the other, and then for the next iteration it will add a line. Click and run as Java application. So as you can see, 1 2 3 and there is 4, and first row has got 3 values, second row has got only one value. Okay, for a two-dimensional array. So this is nothing but jagged array. So far we have covered all these topics. Okay, that is the end of today's session.